Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the How to Complete Your Edge webinar, your Edge 2.0 application webinar. Sorry about that. I am Andrea Wojcik. I am the Senior Communications Manager for the Division of Small Business, and I am currently looking for my PowerPoint to bring it up on the screen. You know what? I love technology when it works. There we go. We're almost where we need to be. Haha. All right, super exciting. Let's get this up into slideshow. Much, much better. Very exciting. We have a lot of participants on today. We are already up to 172. We had 299 registered for this webinar. And so very much hoping that, that everybody is excited and finds this to be very useful as you start to prepare your Edge application. And so in the interest of time, because we have a lot to cover today, I'm going to go ahead and advance the slide. Okay. And again, I'm Andrea Wojcik, Senior Communications Manager for the Division of Small Business. And we are going to talk you through all the steps about how to fill out your Edge application. This is a first of its kind webinar. We've never done it this specifically before. And part of that is because we have a new online application process. So we want to give everyone who is hoping to apply a real walkthrough experience of what it's going to look like and what you need to do and what you need to put where in your application. So in a moment, we will do an actual walkthrough with the online Edge application. Then we will go to discussing how to fill out your proposal template. And then we'll go through additional tips and resources, and finally Q&A. And speaking of Q&A, please type any questions that you have into the Q&A box, not the chat. The recording of this webinar and the slides from the presentation will be posted to de.gov/edge by noon tomorrow. It may come earlier than that, but definitely by noon tomorrow. And we will be giving some specific tips about what types of questions we'll be answering today and what types of questions that we want you to save for the regional business managers. So for instance, we will be answering questions that are related to the application itself, as well as to filling out the rubric. If you have any specific questions as to, for instance, whether you should apply for entrepreneur or STEM, or if you have any specific questions about, does your project fall into this category or that category? Those are the types of questions we're going to say, please hold those and reach out specifically to one of the regional business managers we identify for you throughout the webinar. All right, first, when we're talking about your Edge 2.0 application, we're really talking about three components. So there's the application form itself, and think about that as the demographic information that you need to fill out, all of the name, tax ID number, things like that. Then there is the meat of the application, which is the proposal template. And then there are additional documents that you will need to upload in order to submit a complete Edge application. And we're going to go through this one by one. So to start, I am going to turn this over to our business finance manager, Jory Moore, to do a walkthrough of how to complete your online application. And JJ, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Jory Moore, also known as JJ, your Business Finance Director for the Division of Small Business. I'm going to share my screen real quick. What I'm going to go over with you right now is the steps to actually apply online. If you have any questions about the application itself, please put those in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer those towards the end. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen. All right. So, a link to our business portal will be on the EDGE landing page. So de.gov/EDGE, you'll see a link to this actual portal. So when you click on that link, you'll come to this landing page. It'll give you a brief introduction. And if you're having any issues, there's some contact information there. What you're going to do is start by logging in, and you're going to click this login button. If you've already created an account in the past, you're going to use your email address as your username and then your password that you used originally. If you do not have an account or have not created one with us yet, then you can use this create an account button. It'll go through the steps of creating that account, and then you can sign up from there. If for some reason you know your username but not your password, or you haven't used it in a while, you can go ahead and use this forgot your password link, and that will also give you the steps to reset your password, create a new one, and then you can log in from there. Once you put in your username and password and hit the login button, you'll be dropped into the portal. And once you're dropped into the portal, it will look like this. So you'll have a home tab, loans and payments, applications, communications, and contact tab. The tabs that will be most important is this home one and the applications through the EDGE process. Okay. I'm going to show you two spots that if you, for some reason, started your application, came out and went to go back to do that, which you can, there's two spots where you can resume your application. That will be here on this applications tab. So if you click that, any applications that you've done, you can view, and then any applications, as you can see that you have in progress, you can click resume and it'll drop you at the last place that you save. There's a save and continue button on each page, which we will go over. Once you've logged in, you'll see the other programs that we offer, but if you scroll down here to the bottom, you'll see the EDGE 2.0 grant competition, and that's where you'll need to start. You're going to click View Program Details, and it will drop you right here. This will give you a brief description of EDGE, as well as the proposal, how it's supposed to look. Remember, we need Times New Roman, 12-point font, double space, no more than 20 pages. You'll need to submit your financials, which there's a documents to upload list here, and what those financials should look like. That's an income statement and balance sheet, which the RBMs will go over. Our regional business managers will go over your project button and your business license, a copy of your business license. Once you have all this information gathered, it is recommended that you complete your proposal, get all that together, gather all the documents that you're going to need for the application, and then fill out this application. As Andrea stated earlier, this is basically just to gather the information that we need about your business. So if you ever get to this point, there's two spots where you can go back to our EDGE landing page, and that's here. If you need more information or you need to go back to the rubric or to the proposal template or any other information that you need, if you click this button here, it'll drop you right back to that de.gov/EDGE website. Once you're ready to apply, you'll hit this blue button, and we'll do that in just a moment. However, this is the second spot where you can see if you've applied for EDGE or you've already started an application and you want to resume. Again, you'll have the view if you've already applied, and resume if you've stopped somewhere in the middle of the application and didn't fully submit it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and apply, and I'm going to walk you through that. All right. So as it loads, remember anything in red is required. So you won't be able to get past that page if you don't fill out the required fields. So we're going to start with our business name. And we'll just use JJ's Laundry Service, LLC. If you have a doing business as, that's where you'll need to fill in this box. And then you'll need to put in your tax ID number here. Remember, it won't let you go past if you don't have 9 numbers. And then if you know your business license number, you can go ahead and fill it in here. If you don't know it, that's fine because you're going to upload a copy anyway. Right, here's where you're going to use your business address. So in this case, I'm just going to use a generic one. This may be the physical location or the location that you use. And we'll put this in Dover, oops, in Delaware, and we'll put 19901. Okay. If this is a generic, let's say you use a PO box or something for your business, you can put that information there. But if you have an actual physical location in Delaware, then you'll want to check this box. That will drop down this menu and you'll fill out your actual physical address. And that will help us determine if you're in a certain county or certain area, opportunity zones, things like that, which will be helpful during the application, which I'll show you on the next page. If not, just leave that unchecked and you'll hit save and continue. As you hit save and continue, it'll drop you right back in the spot that you were if you come out of the application. Then we'll get to business information. This is what type of business you actually own. This is an LLC. Now, I know that nonprofits are available, but remember that you cannot apply as a nonprofit for EDGE. So you'll have to use one of these at the top. We'll say I'm an LLC. I established my business on Monday. And if you are incorporated, and you're a corporation, you'll just need to put the state that in which you were incorporated. If that's not the case, then don't worry about it. Okay. And let's say mine is the service industry. And if you wanted to explain kind of what your business is, now remember, there are these little information buttons throughout the application. So if you're not exactly sure what to put in these boxes, remember you can hover right over those eyes and it'll tell you exactly what you're supposed to put in these boxes. So you're describing 300 words or less what your business does and why you are submitting this application. This information could be helpful for your application. Please don't drop your proposal template in here. Make sure this is just a brief description if you need to give any additional details. You'll put your last annual revenue in there and your total assets. And then again, information bubbles will be helpful. Okay. Also, to help with certain things, we would like to know, is your business owned by a minority, woman, or veteran, or a person with disabilities? Those options are here. You'll check all that apply. So minority owned, veteran owned, if I'm women owned, or a person with a disability, those are there. And that's given through our Office of Supplier Diversity on actual details on what these mean, which we will go over in another slide. But you'll check those boxes here if they apply to you. If your business is located in an opportunity zone or downtown development district, you'll also want to check one of these boxes or both of these boxes here, okay? If this does not apply to you, you don't have to check these boxes, and that's okay. We can just continue to move on, and we'll hit save and continue. Remember, if you need to go back for any reason, there's the back button. Business contacts. These are those associated with your business. So the general contact would be the person that we need to reach out for additional information. Let's say something's not clear. We need to reach out for any, additional information. We need to know something specific. Then we'll need a general contact. This does not have to be the person that actually fills out the application. However, or the CEO, it could be anybody. So I'll make myself the CEO and I'll put in my email address. And we'll need a phone number as well. Okay. And then we'll need an authorized signers. If these are the same, you still have to fill out both slots, okay? So the authorized signer is the person that is able to sign the application on behalf of the business. That's any persons that own 20% or more of the business. Now, just as a caveat to the authorized signer portion of this and the email that you use to log into the portal is the email that you need to use for the authorized signer. The application will not let you submit it if the emails do not match. So again, on that login page where I showed you to put the username and password, the email that's associated with the login has to be the same email that you use for the authorized signer. So I'm going to put my name in here, my title, again, my email was a different one for this login. And my phone number is the same. Yep. And then we'll hit save and continue. Ownership. This is where you'll put in who are the persons who own 20% or more of the business and your ownership structure. So we want to know if your ownership is private or public. Your ticker symbol. If there's a parent company, you can put that there. Like if you're doing business as, like you have laundry service, but then I also have a laundry delivery service, and my laundry service is my parent company. You can put that there. Any other explanations of your business you can put there. So because I am the owner, I'm going to put my first and last name here. You have to put your actual social, how much you own. In this case, I own 100%. And then my physical address. Okay. If you have more than one owner, let's say that you have somebody who owns 50 and there's a 49-51 situation, 50-50, whatever those percentages are, all you got to do is click this add owner plus button, and then more of these boxes will continue to generate. Okay. But if you don't need that, you can get rid of them, and we can stick with the 100% ownership. Remember on the first page where I asked you if you had a physical location? If you have more than one physical location, let's say your business is located, say you have a store in Wilmington and one in Smyrna and another one in Seaford. If that's the case, you can put multiple business locations on the application. So does the applicant maintain more than one business location? If that's yes, then you'll put the address there. If there's more employees there, you can put that there. Part-time employee count there, and then you'll hit save and continue. If you have multiple locations, 3 or 4, just continue to hit that plus button, and then you can add that in. If not, just hit no, and then hit save and continue. Oh, I missed something. No, I didn't. Okay, this is a very important part of our application, and we would like everybody to fill it in. That's why it's red. It's how did you hear about the EDGE competition? Did you hear it from word of mouth, through advertisement, a website, maybe ours or someone else's, an organization, on social media, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any of those, a newsletter, maybe it's our newsletter, maybe a newsletter through one of the chambers, or other. If it's not listed here, you can use the other button. So let's say I heard about this on Instagram, and it was the DSB's page that I saw this information on. Okay. If it's an organization, let's say you're working with the SBDC or Launcher or a Main Street program or one of the, one of those programs, you can also put it here. Okay. Okay, so program information. This is where we start to, you pick the category in which you're going to apply for, whether that be entrepreneur or STEM. This is based on your business type, not on the project. So if you are in the STEM category, then you pick STEM. If you're an entrepreneur, then you pick entrepreneur. If you are not sure, then please reach out to one of our regional business managers. In this case, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm requesting 50,000. My matching funds 0.03 are going to be, let's say, 1,500 in this case. Just making up numbers. Total project cost, let's say it's 60,000. All right. None of these numbers match, but yours should. The purpose. So what you're using the grant funding for. So I own a laundry service, so I'm going to buy washers and dryers. Right? So I'm going to purchase washers and dryers. And those washers and dryers are going to cost me $60,000. Okay. Let's say they cost me 50. So the grant is for 50. All right. And then with those washers and dryers, I'm going to need 1,500 for, for installation. And that's what I'm going to pay for. That's my 3-to-1 match. It's for the installation, and that's for 1,500. Okay. If you have more than one grant use, so let's say you want to purchase washers and purchase dryers, and then I need to purchase supplies like laundry detergent. I'm going to put that in as well. We'll just say it costs $1, even though we know it doesn't. Okay. So you can continue to add other grant uses and other match expenses. And that's how you fill out this portion. Remember, it requires a 3-to-1 match. If your numbers don't match exactly, that's okay. Just make sure that your proposal budget kind of outlines. That's what that's for. Your proposal budget will tell us exactly what you're using the funds for, but we also ask that you put it here on the application as well. After you fill that information out, we will ask if you've received any state funding previously. That's anything that you received in the past. Is it a Delaware Relief Grant, a help loan? You've won EDGE before. You've gotten funds from our strategic fund. Anything like that, please put it here. You've gotten a grant with maybe another department, maybe the Department of Labor or the Department of, anything that you've gotten as far as state funding, you'll put it here. If you haven't received any state funding before, just put NA. Okay. Also on this page, we ask which regional business manager assisted you with your application. So if you've been reaching out to a regional business manager for assistance and they've been walking you through the application, helping you with your proposal template, getting your proposal together, making sure that you have all your documents, helping you with the application, helping you fill out the application, we would like to know that information as well. You'll just pick from here. We have Joe Zelkowski, who's covering Newcastle County, Anastasia Jackson, who's covering Kent County, and Gemini Cornish, who covers Sussex County. You don't have to stick within your counties. That's fine. They also have areas of interest, which we will also go over today. You'll pick one. Or if you didn't work with anybody, you just kind of did everything on your own, just pick, I did not work with a regional business manager. Okay. In this case, we're going to pick Anastasia and we're going to keep going. Okay, so part of our disclosures is you filling out, reading through each of these questions and picking yes or no. It is important that during the disclosure process that you are honest. So if it's a yes, then pick yes. If not, then you just hit no. Some of these questions include, have you been the subject of or party to any formal or informal inspection, inquiry, investigation, administrative proceedings, or criminal prosecution? That's yes, but yes. If not, no. If you're unsure, please reach out to your regional business manager, explain the situation, and they'll let you know how to fill out this portion. Or you can reach out to myself. And we're just going to pick no, and we're going to move through those. But please make sure that you read through these and answer honestly. And then we're going to click save and continue. Okay. Great news is we've reached the end of the application. So you filled it all out. You've gotten everything done. And now we're coming to document upload. This is a pretty simple process. Again, I've listed at the end of the application the documents that are required to make it a complete application. If you do not turn in your electronic application along with all of these documents, your application will be considered incomplete. and may not be reviewed. So again, I would like to reiterate that you must submit the electronic application along with all of these documents. And we will go over exactly what these mean and what we're looking for. So remember, you need a business license, income statement, also known as a profit and loss statement, balance sheet, your project budget, and your proposal. Okay. I ask that all documents be formatted as a PDF. And we'll go over that as well. You can either do one or two things. You can click this upload files and upload them, or you can drop files. So you can click and drag, and I have give me 1 second and I'll get you a document that I've been using. Okay, so let's say this is Word. Don't pay attention to that. And I'm gonna drop that. And it's gonna load. And as you can see, once it loads, you'll get this green checkbox and you'll hit done. And you'll see that the document is there. And you can click this view all if you need to see more of the documents that you've uploaded. And then you can continue to add files. Let me go back. Go back one. And then you continue to add files as needed. Okay. So you're going to keep uploading as you need to. And then if you need to upload more files, you can do that as well. Once they've been added, you'll hit save and continue. Another good part of this application is, let's say you get to this part and you're like, I didn't do my proposal. I'll need my proposal template. You can save and continue. Or if you need more information, you see this available here button, it will drop you right back to the Edge landing page that I mentioned earlier. So there's 2 spots in which you can go back to our Edge landing page and get the information that you need. Are you unsure? Do you want to view the webinars again? Are you thinking that, oh, maybe I missed something in the application or I didn't do something right? Remember, you can toggle at any point and go back to any of these parts. So let's say I want to go back to business details and make sure that I checked all the boxes here, then I can go back here, and then I can go right back to where I was to documents. Okay. If you feel like you have everything and you uploaded everything, then you're going to continue and hit save and continue. This is where you'll have to make sure that the email address is matched. This button will not be available if it will be gray if the email addresses that you logged in, the email address that you logged in with does not match the authorized signer email address. If it does, you'll hit save and continue. Authorized signer will be listed here. And then it will come to a signature page. This is DelSign by Adobe Acrobat. And what you're going to do is when you get to this page to sign it, you're going to hit continue. There's going to be some fields that you're going to need to fill out. This certification and compliance check authorization gives us the ability to do compliance checks on your eligibility. So our compliance checks can include Department of Labor, the Division of Revenue, things like that. So make sure that you read through this in its totality to understand that we could do some compliance checks on your business just to make sure that you are in compliance with the state, because you have to be in compliance with the state to be approved or granted any grants with the state or any loans. When you get to that point and you've read through this in its entirety, you're going to go ahead and sign it. I'm going to type my name. And I'm going to click apply. Then my signature will stick. I'm going to enter my job title here. Same thing I used before. As you can see, it says JJ's Laundry Service, LLC. That's my legal business name. Also underneath this is a summary of your application, which you'll also get by email. And you can always review, but it's the answers to some of your questions, things like that. That's all listed there. Once you're doing that, you'll see here this blue bar at the bottom. You're going to click submit. Once you sign the application, it will process. You sign that certification, you're going to get to the submit. This is the final submission button. So this will be the time to, if you need to go back to go through any of these, not the review and sign, but any of these, and make sure that you have everything. We'll look at your documents, make sure you filled all this out. And then, because once you complete that, it automatically sends it to us and it drops into our internal program. So once I hit complete application, that's it. You'll come right back to this first landing page that you started. And as you can see, I have today at 10:32 a submitted application, and you can always go back and view your application here. If you hit this home button, it'll drop you right back to this, and then you can use this drop down to log out and to exit out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it back to Andrea. If you have any questions about the application itself, we will do that during the Q&A.
Great. Thanks so much, JJ. I am going to bring my screen back up. All right. Now, since we've worked through this, now we're going to talk about how to complete your proposal section. And to do this in a moment, I am going to introduce Gemini Cornish and Anastasia Jackson, two of our DSB regional business managers. A couple of notes first. So JJ just gave you a lot of information, and you might be wondering, you know, how should I go about this? So here are the steps that we think that you should take in order to apply. So the first thing you will not do is go to start your application form that JJ just showed you. The first thing that you will actually do is to download and complete your proposal templates. Those templates are already available on de.gov. Now, after you have done that, or maybe at the same time you're doing that, you can gather the other documents you will need to upload, and we will cover those specifically. Then you will access the EDGE 2.0 application again at de.gov/EDGE. We will provide a button that will take you to the page that Jory was just showing you. And then lastly, you will fill out the application and upload all of the documents together at the same time. We will repeat this several times. Do not wait until September 5th to do all of this. Do not wait till September 5th to upload all of your documentations. Anything could happen. You could have a power outage. You know, your internet could go down. Don't wait until the last second, because there is a cutoff time for accepting applications. Now, there were questions about formatting your proposal. So, sorry about that. So you must use the STEM or Entrepreneur template on the website to format and complete all sections. You have to use those templates. The type of business you have determines which template you use. So it used to be that we would say, well, if you're a STEM-based business, but say maybe you're not developing an online app, you might choose Entrepreneur. No more. If you're a STEM-based business, science, technology, math, and engineering, you pick the STEM template. If you are any other category, you pick the Entrepreneur template. If you have a question about where this falls, where your business falls, contact a regional business manager. Next, the font is Times New Roman, 12 point. The proposal template must be double spaced. That is double 2, not 1.5. There is a 20-page maximum for your proposal template. The stuff that Jory just covered does not count towards that 20-page max. Anastasia and Gemini, I know there are questions about whether the financial documents count toward that 20-page, so maybe you want to cover that. Save your proposal as a PDF and upload it when completing the application. All right, so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our amazing business managers, Anastasia Jackson and Gemini Cornish. I know they have a lot to cover, and we still want to leave times for question and answer. So even though this webinar is supposed to end at 11, as long as some of us can stay on, we will try and hang on for maybe another 10 to 15 minutes. All right, Anastasia, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Andrea. My name is Anastasia Jackson, and I'm the Kent County Regional Business Manager here at the Delaware Division of Small Business. And at this time, I'm going to go through the entrepreneur template for the EDGE grant. To the left of the screen, you'll see the layout for the entrepreneur template. It starts with your business name, the address for the business, contact information. Section 1 covers the project introduction and company background. Section 2 is the business need. And underneath of that is 2.1 business need details, owner's qualifications and experience, business need, budget relevance. Section 3, return on investment. That includes return on investment forecasting, including your 5-year financial projections. 3.2, business growth potential, risk mitigation. And Section 4, it's competitive advantage gained, and it includes the 4.1 market analysis, 4.2 gain competitive advantage, effectiveness, and efficiency, 4.3 customer insights and sustained competitive advantage, Section 5 community impact. The subsections under that is 5.1 significance of community impact and 5.2 broader impact. To the right of the screen, you'll see the first page of the entrepreneur rubric. While we won't go through every single section of the rubric, it is readily available on our website at de.gov/edge. So you can pull it up and you can kind of start diving deep into it. But for example, this is what you really should focus on, the higher end of the rubric, not section 1, but we're going to look at section 5. So for business need details under 2.1, you want to make sure the proposal provides a compelling explanation of how the grant would address a unique business need or business opportunity that cannot be easily accomplished using current resources. In this section, you should provide data, including estimations of the market size, market growth, company projected sales growth, and a competitive analysis should be provided to justify these claims. In section 2.2, owner's qualifications and experience, the proposal should provide detailed information of the owner's qualifications and experience and illustrate how those qualities will have a positive and profound impact in the success of the project and or business. I always like to use the example here when I deal with business owners that in this section, if you worked at McDonald's when you were 15, that's great. But if you're trying to do some type of project, we don't really need to focus on that at this point for the EDGE grant. We want to focus on most recent, educational experience that you have or certifications, things of that nature. That's what we really want to expound on. If you're a veteran, you can talk about that in this section. If you have a child care license or you were, a teacher, you can speak to that in this section because it really relates to the business and the business need. In section 2.3, business need and budget relevance. So we'll look over again under section 5 of the rubric. Business need is completely tied back to the proposed project budget. All items in the budget are explained and shown to be consistent with fulfillment of the targeted business need. So at this time, I'm going to pass the mic over to my colleague, Ms. Gemini Cornish.
Thank you, Anastasia. So now I'll be covering the STEM template for EDGE. And I will mirror what Anastasia Jackson just did. And please note that the STEM template is completely different than the entrepreneur template. So please make sure you're using the right template. And that can be found at the top where it says STEM project proposal. So please make sure you're using the correct template. So on the left, I'll go through the sections of the template that you will need to use. And please use these in the correct order. So part 1 is the project introduction and company background. Part 2 is the return on investment, and that includes 2.1, the project description and impact, 2.2, return on investment, include the 5-year financial projections. 2.2, additional fundraising. 2.4, the founder's qualification and experience. 2.5, strategic alignment. Section 3, business need, and that includes 3.1, the business need details. 3.2, alternatives. 3.3, business need and budget relevance. And Section 4, competitive advantage gain, which includes 4.1, the market analysis. 4.2, gain competitive advantage and sustainability. 4.3, the customer insight and business opportunity. And lastly, Section 4, the community impact. And that includes, my screen won't go down. So on the right-hand side, we're going to focus on Section 5, community impact, and that's 5.1, the significance of the community impact. So on the right of the screen, you can see the rubric, which will focus on Section 2, the return on investment. And like Anastasia said, this is just page 1 of the rubric. There are other pages that will go along with the rubric. So let's focus on Section 2, return on investment. And again, we're going to aim for the higher end of the rubric, which is Section 5. So 2.1 is a project description and impact. And this focus on the proposal shows that the company will be utilizing the grant as part of a crucial funding source in order to develop a new innovation or disruptive technology in a given field. This innovation and its impact on the given field is explained thoroughly with data. 2.2, return on investment, including the 5-year financial projections. This states that the proposal shows that a successful development of technology or successful research discovery will lead to a significant ROI for the state's grant investment, either through directly or indirect means over a 5-year period. 2.3, additional fundraising. That states that the proposal maps out in a clear and coherent manner how an EDGE grant would enable the company to attract additional fundraising over the coming years to level the supports commercialization of the product within 10 years. 2.4, founder's qualification and experience. The proposal provides a detailed information of owner's qualification and experience and illustrates how those qualities will have a positive and profound impact in the success of the project and or business. And then we have 2.5, the strategic alignment. The research or innovation pursued aligns with strategic goals of the Delaware stakeholders, such as the public institutions of higher education, economic development efforts, and the community and other community organizations. And that's it for the STEM entrepreneurial template and rubric. Here are 4 documents that you will need to upload: the income statement, the balance sheet, a detailed budget. All must be in PDF form. Also, a copy of the current, not expired State of Delaware business license, temporary license accepted if current, PDF preferred, JPG accepted also. So here you'll see examples of a balance sheet versus an income statement. On the left, you can see an example of the balance sheet versus on the right, an example of the income statement. And the next slide will go in more detail about the difference. So the balance sheet versus the income statement. The balance sheet is a snapshot of what your business owns, assets, and how those things were funded, liability versus equity. Remember, a balance sheet shows the items at the price they were purchased for or the cost incurred to make them. If you can't put a price on it, it probably doesn't belong in the balance sheet. The income statement shows the flow of revenues against expense for a given period and shows the bottom line, profit or loss. Lastly, your business may not be making a profit yet, and that's okay. Just remember to be as detailed as you can be in the financials and the narrative. So here's an example of your business license, and remember it must be current and cannot be expired. And you can get assistance with your business license at onestop.delaware.gov. And as you can see, this is from the Division of Revenue. And I'll pass it over to Anastasia Jackson.
Thank you, Gemini. So here are a couple of tips as you're working through your EDGE grant proposal that we want to make sure we highlight for you. Meet with one of us. Meet with your regional business manager to get guidance and feedback on your proposal. There's myself, I cover Kent County, Gemini covers Sussex, and Mr. Joe Zolkowski, who covers Northern Wilmington and Newcastle County. Do not just go in and request the upper level or upper limit for the EDGE grant money that's available. For the entrepreneur category, as we know, it's $400 on the table. Don't just go in and submit your application and say, I just want the $400. Let's make sure that it makes sense for what your business need is in your project and make sure that it's relevant. And so that way we can have a strong proposal that you submit. Remember, you also need to have a match. Next slide. So there's a 3-to-1 match, which can be found in the application form. When you are applying, you are required to show you have some level of capital. All awards require a 3-to-1 funding match. For example, if you receive $90,000, a finalist is also required to show that you have $30,000 and other sources secured to be able to match that. Match should be specific to the project, and you can also use other grant funds. So if there's other grant opportunities out there that you're awarded after you receive the EDGE grant funding, that can definitely be your match. And we work really closely with our partners to see if there's any grant opportunities that align with what your need is, and you can use that as a match or a loan. Next slide, please. So here are a list of eligible projects and ineligible project items. I'm not going to go through all of them because you can read through them yourself, but 2 that I'm going to just highlight that jump out to me is for eligible projects, essential equipment. So if you need that washer and dryer that Director JJ mentioned earlier, that is an essential and eligible project item. For ineligible expenses, purchase of real estate. You cannot purchase a home with the EDGE grant funding. That is an ineligible expense. Permits of government fees, you cannot use it for that or for taxes. Not eligible. Next slide, please. Now we're going to talk about some additional points that you can receive on your EDGE grant application. If you fall in the category of a women-owned, minority, or veteran business enterprise status or service-disabled veteran enterprise status, you receive extra 5 points. If you're in the geographic area of an opportunity zone or a downtown development district, you will receive extra points for that. And if your industry falls within the governor's industries of interest, such as fintech, biopharmaceutical manufacturing, agriculture, blue tech, tourism, recreation, or entertainment, you receive an additional 5 points for that as well. Next slide, please. So now we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into these industries of interest. When you look at fintech, this sector aims to increase efficiency, accessibility, and convenience in financial transactions and services. So some examples could be payment processing, peer-to-peer lending, robo-advisors, blockchain technology, and much more. Biopharmaceutical manufacturing develops manufacturing of pharmaceuticals that can lead to job creation in high-skill sectors, increased expert or improve public health, reducing long-term health costs. Some examples could be vaccine productions, biotechnology firms, generic drug manufacturing, and again, much more that are probably not listed here, but we could dive deeper into that. For agriculture, there's organic farming, precision agriculture, agribusiness supply chains. Next slide, please. And for blue tech is framed as technology used to understand, explore, manage the marine environment with tools such as autonomous surface vessels, underwater robotics, geospatial mapping, sensor networks, promotes sustainable practices, and increases coastal community revenues. Some examples could be aquaculture technology, marine renewable energy, such as tidal or wave energy, oceanographic research, and much more. For tourism, we'll look at accommodations, transportation such as bus, car rentals, etc., attractions, and restaurants. Next slide, please. For recreation, projects such as like fitness centers, outdoor adventure services, that could include hiking, kayaking, and biking. For entertainment, theatrical productions, media, film, music, producers, performing arts, arts exhibits, and other creative endeavors that are central to Delaware's vibrant arts community. Now I'm going to pass it over to our Director of the Office of Supplier Diversity, Ms. Siobhan White.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Siobhan White, the Director of the Office of Supplier Diversity, here to talk to you about our certification. We do administer certification for businesses owned by minorities, women, veterans, service-disabled veterans, and individuals with a disability. However, for the EDGE grant application, you do not have to be certified in order to receive the additional points. This is a self-identifying process. So if your business is 51% or more owned by an individual in one of these categories, you can select to receive the additional points for the EDGE application. However, although certification is not a requirement, we do encourage you to apply for certification. You can find the information on our website at de.gov/OSD. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to contact me via email at osd@delaware.gov. So again, remember, certification is not a requirement for the EDGE points. You can self-identify. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to our business managers.
And the other area where you can receive extra points is opportunity zones. So if you're not sure if your business address is in a downtown development district or in an opportunity zone, don't worry. We have a link that you can use right here. A map will come up and you can key in your address and you'll find out if you're in an opportunity or downtown development district. And us business managers, we're happy to help you navigate in that tool. Next slide, please. And Size Up Delaware is a business data analytics tool that has been super helpful with successful candidates who have applied for EDGE. I couldn't stress enough how important it is to be able to access this site and use it for the EDGE grant proposal, but also utilizing it for your business plan as well. Thank you, Ms. Andrea.
All righty. So now let's get to the part where we're talking about after application submissions. So after you have submitted your application, there will be 4 rounds of internal reviewing and scoring by division staff. From that, there will be judging on 2 separate days, one for STEM, one for entrepreneur. The pitch days are in the range of October 28th through 30th. We have not picked the specific days, but that will give you an idea of when those pitch days will be. The pitch will be public. So it has always been public, but this time we're going to really promote that it's public. And so you could have a lot of people, including media, quite honestly, watching you pitch for these grant funds. So just be aware that if you have something that is considered proprietary and you're selected for pitch, that's going to be out in the open. So just for an awareness for you. Next, the awards ceremony and the announcements will either be November 12th, 13th, 18th, or 19th. Again, the specific days have yet to be determined, but those are the dates that we are picking for. We are really trying to get all of this wrapped up before the holidays, and we're going to work to make the awards ceremony a big splash. After the awards, you will sign your grant agreements. The business finance group will confirm compliance before we disperse the funds. Afterwards, there will be reporting requirements for you, and you must agree to remain in the state for 5 years afterwards. This avoids having us award money to somebody who wanted to get money only to be able to move to another state. These are state funds, and we use them to empower Delaware small businesses and hopefully keep and grow Delaware small businesses in Delaware. The EDGE grants are considered taxable income. Please consult an accountant if you have questions about your specific situation. We are not tax experts. We can only tell you that they're considered taxable. The deadline for application submission is Friday, September the 5th at 4 p.m. Again, do not wait until the last minute. Okay, and now we are going to get to the question and answer section. There are a boatload of questions that are already in there. And remember, if we don't cover your question specifically, please reach out to one of the regional business managers to get your question answered. We will post the recording and the slides for this by noon tomorrow. And one thing I just want to bring up, I think is helpful, aside from please connect with us, is here are the list of the business managers. If the first thing we want you to do is look at the industry that you fall within and go to the business manager that is assigned that industry. If your business does not fall within any of these industries, then pick which county you fall within. I will let you know that currently Joe Zolkowski is on vacation, but he has left an out of office message to direct people with questions on what to do and who will help cover him while he is out. And this is just a reminder, if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A. We're not accepting any raised hands questions at this moment. And business managers, if you will, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can come out and we can have the chance for everybody to answer questions. Please put your name, your email, and your areas that you cover in the chat. All right. Bringing this out. Right, let's go to questions then. All the way back up to the top. All right, first question. This can go to a business manager. Can you distinguish between building cosmetic upgrades eligibility versus improvements to residential property?
So if you're applying for the EDGE grant and you have a home daycare and you want to create a fit out for, like, I don't know, your garage area, you want to make that, an extended space for your daycare, that would not be eligible. If you purchased a building that's downtown and it needs to be fitted out, and you would like to use the EDGE grant funding for that, that is an eligible expense, and that we can do that.
Great, thank you. Can you apply for both the entrepreneur as well as STEM categories? JJ, you want to take that?
Oh, go ahead, JJ. JJ? Oh, you're on mute. Oh, okay, she can't talk. Go ahead, Anastasia. Sorry about that.
Got it. Sorry. No,
Okay.
you can't apply for both. Sorry, my headset wasn't down. No, you can't apply for both. You need to apply for one or the other.
And please reach
And
out to
remember-
your business manager so we can further discuss and help you navigate which category you should apply for.
Exactly. Thank you, Gemini. Just what I was going to say. All right. If you are a third party who supports applicants, is it okay to be the person with the DSB account and who submits the actual application?
Yes, but the authorized signer must be the one that the email goes to. So there's two emails that you'll get. One, once you get to that review and sign page, it'll send an email out and it'll be like a little button that says review and sign. You can complete the application for a business. However, you cannot sign that application. So you want to make sure that the email address you use to log in is unique to that business and that business owner. That way that they can go in, review and sign the certification piece. And then once they do that, you can submit the application.
Great, thank you. Do the financials and budget pages count as part of the 20-page limit? So
No.
that's income statement, balance sheet.
No, they do not.
Okay. Are new businesses eligible? A business I haven't started yet, but I'm looking to start.
I recommend that you reach out to your regional business manager.
And is this beneficial if I'm starting a new business?
I recommend that you reach
Yes.
out to your regional business manager.
Correct.
The last webinar, it was said that a new or future business could apply. If we don't yet have an EIN number, would we use our social security number?
In order to apply, you have to have a business license, a Delaware business license. So you need to be established. So it would be highly recommended that you go ahead and go through those processes, contact a regional business manager for help with that process and get yourself established first. You cannot apply as a person for EDGE. It has to be a business.
Thank you. Somebody is asking how many NICS codes can they add in the business details section because of the different types of products that they offer.
I would highly suggest that you pick the one that's closest to your overall business. So if that's cosmetics, cosmetics. If that's construction, construction. Just pick one that's the closest to yours, to what you do overall. Don't
So-
list multiple and NAICS codes, please. Just one.
So the answer is 1.
Just one.
Great. What is the tickler symbol or ticker symbol?
Tickler symbol, if you're a publicly traded company, it's your little acronym on the stock market. If you are not publicly traded, then you don't have a tickler symbol, which most small businesses are not publicly traded. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's why it's not a required field. So you can skip past that.
Thank you. Somebody says, I haven't acquired any major revenue. I suggest you reach out to a regional business manager for that question. All right. Under management and ownership, why do you need the social security number? I think this is the application.
Are they referring to the signature, the certification? Because remember before we used to have the affidavit or the notary that was done, but that's no longer a requirement. So this is just certifying that they are actually who they say they are. Am I correct, JJ?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Are owners who are not being paid considered to be employees? I guess they're trying to determine how would they count themselves as an employee within the 15-person or less limit.
I would say no. So it would be anyone that is not an owner
Yeah.
of the business would be
if they're not
considered an
registered-
employee.
Yeah, if they're not
if
registered with the Department of Labor, then
no.
yeah, and you're not paying unemployment insurance tax on yourself, then you are not considered an employee.
Yeah, so if you are an owner and say you're an owner and you have a business, but your employees are being paid and you're not being paid, then you would not be considered an employee. Is that what you're saying? Okay, good. That's a yes for anybody who can't tell. She's nodding her head. Let's see. Does the business location on the application form refer to multiple businesses or multiple locations of the same business the application is for?
It would be multiple locations of the same business. So again, I own a laundromat and my laundromat is in Wilmington, Smyrna, and Seaford. I would need your addresses for Wilmington, Smyrna, Seaford. If you own a laundromat and then you also own, I don't know, transportation service, that's separate. I don't need to know anything about that business. I just need to know for the business that you're applying for if you have multiple locations.
Great. This is one we get frequently. Does the matching funds need to be in the account while applying, or is it to be present after the grant has been awarded?
You have 1 year after you're awarded the EDGE grant funding to be able to show that you've fully expended everything that you have that you say that you're going to spend the money on and that match. During the course of that year, that's when you continue to connect with your regional business manager and other partners that I mentioned before. If there's other grant opportunities out there, if you're looking to apply for a loan program, I know this is a webinar about EDGE, but we do have SSBCI. If that's something of interest to you, we definitely would have a conversation about that as well. So you do have a year to spend that and to come up with your match.
All right, there are multiple questions about what counts as other funding that you've received. So again, suggest you reach out to a business manager with those specific questions. And so what if something is not up to par with your financials? Maybe you have debt or low credit scores. Does this automatically disqualify you for EDGE?
Credit scores are not considered in EDGE grant funding. So we don't pull credit for that. Financials, it's a case by case. I would highly suggest that you reach out to a regional business manager about your personal financials and what they look like prior to applying. And that way somebody can review them with you. But that would be like an individual basis. So reach out to them. But we don't pull credit.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that when you receive the EDGE grant funding, there is reporting that's going to take place within a year. So maybe if this just isn't the right time for you to apply, you want to wait until you get some things in order, like JJ just mentioned, after you reach out to us, then we can explore applying for the EDGE, maybe even in the spring. But making sure that you're able and prepared to provide reporting financial requirements that we look for over the next 5 years is very, very important.
Great. Will the business managers be able to assist businesses that are not tech savvy with completing the applications?
Yes, we will be able to help you navigate through that process. So just reach out to your business manager and we can discuss that further.
And also keep in mind, there are resource partners that we work really closely with, such as the Small Business Development Center. I know Jim and I and myself, we were working with a couple of advisors right now with business owners who may have applied in the past or are looking to apply for this round as we speak. We also work very closely with Launcher graduates who are in the pipeline of applying for the EDGE grant as well. So find whichever partner, whether it's the Pete DuPont Freedom Foundation, Launcher, I can name them all, the Women's Business Center. Just make sure you have an advisor as well as us regional business managers, and we work really closely with them.
Great. JJ, is there a size limit on the uploaded proposal?
No, there isn't a file size limit. It should let you, and if you keep it to 20 pages, it should let you upload it. If you're expanding beside that, then that's when you're going to have issues. Especially with JPEGs, just make sure that you can shrink it. Not that it's not visible, but usually your phone or something will ask you if you want like small, medium, or large. Try to stick to the medium, small. Just because it's small doesn't mean I can't expand it and see it, but no, the file size shouldn't matter.
And here's another great question. Technology can be unpredictable. As I said, don't wait till the last second. What happens if the system goes down on the 5th and we're unable to submit the application?
This is why it's very good to do this ahead of time. One, don't wait till the 5th. And on the 5th, somebody from the finance team will be available all day for technical issues. And our team that actually helps us with the building of the application will be on standby as well if we're having issues. The application itself will be available till 4 p.m. But if you do not submit it by then and you're having technical difficulties, there's not much I can do for you after 4 o'clock. So I highly suggest that you kind of go through it. Even if you have to start the application and then kind of click submit, before the 5th, I suggest that you kind of have it submitted probably by the 1st or 2nd of September. And that way if there is some issues, you have a couple days to kind of iron that out. And we have some time to help you.
And the great thing is you have a jump start today to start working on your proposal. So
right.
No excuses.
All right. This is good to reiterate. I own an LLC company founded in the US, but in general, I'm often working remotely outside the US. What address should I provide?
What
So should it be the,
I would reach out to your regional business manager. We need to look at your specific situation. And in order to do that, we don't really have the time right now to kind of explore and ask the questions that we need to ask. So
Mhm.
reach out to your regional business manager. If you're not sure who that is, just look at the county or the industry, as Andrea stated, and then we'll get that answer to you on whether we can help you or not.
and as a reminder, the EDGE competition is only available for Delaware-based businesses. If you are founded in the US, but you are founded in another state, you are not eligible. You have to be a Delaware business. Question for JJ. You mentioned during your walkthrough, please include your contact information if we need to reach out for clarification. The question was, at what point do you reach out for clarification, and what type of clarification are you talking about?
It could be at any point, and it would be during the review process. Most likely, what would happen is I would reach out to a regional business manager to ask clarifying questions. Those clarifying questions could be anything from your asset size to something on your balance sheet to something in your proposal that I might have a question on. And this will be those who are closer to those end rounds that I may have questions about, or my team may have questions about. But that's why having your contact information on there is critical, because maybe you submitted your proposal, but somehow the last page didn't make it. And I want to give you the opportunity to turn in your last page or something like that. So please make sure that your contact information is up to date, because it could be something general as something's misspelled, or your EIN the numbers got transposed and we can't find you, something like that. So
And sort of teasing that questions out or drawing it out a little bit, would it be for clarification on the intent of your proposal? Is this to give you an opportunity to provide better wording on your proposal, or to amend your proposal in any way?
no, this would be, I saw something like your EIN number doesn't match, your business license is not coming up for some strange reason. Like, I can see the numbers, but the Division of Revenue has no record of you for some reason. Then we need to figure out kind of where that it would be more of a technical thing than it would be, hey, I read your proposal and you need to change X, Y, Z. I will not be doing that. Neither
Great.
will my team.
Thank you.
And help your regional business managers can help you with your proposals. So have somebody read it before you submit it.
Yes. Let's see. What if you have two separate ideas? Can you submit a proposal for each?
If you have two separate businesses, yes. Ideas, no, not for the same business.
And just be aware that you are only, even if you have two separate businesses, you're only getting, only one can win, and you cannot reapply in the future for the other.
So I would pick one and stick with the one. However, you can apply for both, but not two separate applications for two separate ideas for the same business. That won't be counted.
Right. And also I should clarify and say that if you submitted two ideas this time and neither of them won, you could apply next year, and the recommendation would be pick one. But if you have won an EDGE grant, you cannot submit another EDGE grant proposal in the future. Let's see, I'm just scrolling down the questions, making sure. And again, anything we don't answer, it's not because we're ignoring you, it's because, this is going to take some back and forth, and we want you to talk to a regional business manager.
And while you're looking through the Q&As, I also want to mention, if you were a previous applicant of the EDGE and you have not got feedback from your business manager, please reach out so we can give you feedback on your previous submission.
The one that jumped out to me, Miss Andrea.
Yeah,
What if you have two separate ideas? Can you submit a proposal for each? I
yeah,
I I just want to say, like, if you have two ideas, I would focus on one to make sure you provide the strongest application in that one area. I wouldn't submit two. There's nothing saying that you can't submit two different businesses, but I wouldn't do that. I don't recommend that.
Another question I saw is how competitive is this grant? This is a highly competitive grant opportunity. That means we could have 200 people apply and only 10 win, maybe less than that. So remember that because this is highly competitive, one, don't get discouraged if you don't make it to pitch or you don't win. And two, make sure that when you're writing your proposals, you're going through, you're reading the rubrics, you're applying for the grant, that you're putting in details that matter. And that is why speaking with a regional business manager or one of our support partners is highly encouraged during this process so that you can put your best foot forward. But I also don't want you to get discouraged and to not apply again. We do this twice a year, every year, spring and fall. So remember that just because your idea didn't make it the first time doesn't mean that it won't make it the second time or the third time. But this is a very highly competitive, and this is not something you just run through, apply, and you get the money. You really will have to put a really good proposal, really good idea together.
yes. And with that, just covering a couple other things. So I know we talked about in one of the slides, not applying for the upper limit, and under Edge 2.0, where we've really shaken things up. There are people who have applied in the past who are used to us saying, you know, there will be 5 winners in each category. Entrepreneurs will get a flat, you know, up to $50,000, you know, and the STEM winners will get up to 100,000. That is all shaken up. This year, there can be a range of winners between, so for the entrepreneur category, there could be between 2 and 10 winners. And there is $450,000 to fund the number of winners that are ultimately selected by the judges. For the STEM category, $750,000 is available for between 2 and 8 winners. So no, don't apply for the upper limit, but we're also not going to say you can only apply for a flat 50 or a flat 100. Apply somewhere within that range, but make sure you have the match and make sure your project justifies the need for what you are asking, because the judges will look at your pitch and they will say, this is what they're asking for, but maybe we think we're going to give them more that they're asking for. Or alternately, they may say, we don't think they're as far along as they think they are. We want to fund them, but maybe not at the amount that they're asking. So a lot is going to be dependent on the pitch. We're doing it this way this year because in the past, for instance, judges have said, do we have to award 5 winners in X category? We would really fund 4 of these proposals. And gee, wouldn't it have been nice if they had that opportunity and the 4 that they funded could have gotten more money? So that's why we're shaking things up this year. Additionally, when it comes to the business license that you have to have, this has to be a state of Delaware business license. You may also need county or city business licenses, but we're not asking for those. You have to have a state of Delaware business license, no matter what else a county or city requires of you. So that is what we are asking for, state of Delaware business license. All right. And
I'm sorry, before you move from
Yeah.
that, just to elaborate on that. Please don't put in so much effort on your proposal and do not have your business license, because you will automatically be disqualified just because you don't have your business license. So please make sure you upload your business license.
All right. Oh, good. I actually answered one of the questions about the grant ceiling for entrepreneurs. A lot of these are very specific.
About the
Yeah.
gross assets, 700,000 in gross, not net, gross assets. is a requirement to be under. So you have to be under 700,000 in gross assets in order to qualify.
Yes.
And there was another one for a template for financial statements or balance sheets. No, normally you can generate those. Either your accountant can generate one for you. You can use QuickBooks or another program to do that. I would just highly suggest you research that and include the details that we've already provided on what should be on either one of those forms. But there's not a specific template that we're looking for, just the information.
Our Delaware company has one US shareholder with 33%. The remaining shareholders are foreign. Would we be eligible to apply? No, you must be 51%, at least 51% ownership in Delaware, correct, JJ?
Yes.
I think this is a good question. If you're a general business, does tailoring your proposal to the governor's areas of interest increase your chance for success?
Can I jump in on that one?
Please do. This is our director, CJ Bell.
Good morning, everyone. No, it does not increase your chances. It's an industries of interest, so it's more based on what your company does versus you trying to create a pitch or a project that'll fit under the industries of interest.
Thank you very much. Right.
I just
Oh,
like to say, I see a lot of very interesting questions that are coming through, and I'm trying to answer some as you're reading them as well. But we strongly recommend, please reach out to Gemini, myself, and Mr. Joe Zolkowski. We really want to be able to schedule some time to meet with you, learn about your business, and really see how the EDGE grant can better help you become a sustainable business and really take your business to the next level here in the state of Delaware. So if you don't get your question answered live, just know we see them coming in. I'm trying to answer, and Gemini is as well. But just please reach out to us and let us schedule time to meet with you to learn again more about your business and see how the EDGE grant could be a fit.
Great. Do you typically cover a project proposal or the business itself? This is good.
Say that again, Miss Andrea.
Do you typically cover a project proposal or the business itself? It is project-based.
Yes.
Yes, you cannot ask for general funds for your business. You must have a specific need in mind for your EDGE grant request. Let's see. In the past, business managers were on vacation during the EDGE grant cycle. Will they be available to support applicants during this round?
Yes, there is always a business manager that's going to be available. One may be on vacation, but we should have an auto reply to who you should reach out to next steps. But yes, business managers are available.
Overall, after looking through the questions, couple things I would recommend just to, as we end up, because we're getting towards 11:30. One, review the webinar that we've done previously on the changes to EDGE 2.0, the introduction to that tells you everything you need to know about asset size. It is gross. I know that wasn't mentioned on that webinar. What the changes are, how many people, how many finalists we have, what the amounts are for the awards, 3-to-1 match, things like that. Also, I would go back and refer to this webinar for any questions that you may have, ones that we answered, and also reach out to your regional business managers. Your regional business managers also have access to me. We all in the same building. So if there's a financial question or they have a question about, and you want to submit like your balance sheet early or your profit and loss sheet early, just to get a recommendation on what's there and what's not there, you can always submit that to them and I can take a peek at it, or one of my finance team members can take a peek at it to kind of help them out. Also, this is all about you. So remember, do your best. Everybody doesn't, everybody doesn't get everything all the time, and that's fine and that's okay. But the purpose of EDGE is to start growing our small businesses in the state of Delaware. We are trying to take your small to mediums to large, your largers to even larger. And hopefully that you're expanding. You leave your corporation here, you're incorporating, you stay in Delaware as your headquarters, but you expand throughout the US and you create global revenue growth and help our global economy as well as the United States economy. So that's our goal with EDGE. Our EDGE is not a competition to see just who the best business is in Delaware overall. It is to help those who are really have a benefit to not only the state, but our communities as well. So just remember, when you're focusing on your proposals, when you're looking through the rubrics, when you're filling out the application, we want to learn about you, how your business is a benefit to the state, a benefit to our community, how you convey that during not only our application process, but the pitch process is what we want to see the most, is to see businesses thrive. This is not a competition, and there's so many things that come along with this. That's why I highly encourage the previous webinar to learn about the in-kind services that are coming along with this for our finalists, as well as the aftercare for EDGE, because we definitely want to make sure that people succeed. And even if EDGE doesn't work out for you, that's what we're here for, is to continue to help you in this process, continue to grow as a business. EDGE is not the end all be all, and a grant isn't going to fix all your problems. But what we can do is continue to help you grow and navigate in the state and make sure that you do succeed to the best of your abilities. That's all I have to say. Do your best.
You know what? That was a great closeout, JJ. And with that, we are going to end the webinar for the day. We thank you so much for joining us and really appreciate you taking the time and staying with us as long as possible to see if you could get your questions answered live. And don't forget everything that JJ just said, because we have resources available for you. We will post these by tomorrow. And with that, have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day.